Fear is the enemy.
Glad you see the music box.
Whatever it is that you're going for, man, go hard. And hold on, never give up. You gotta have that mentality, man. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. And that's word to my mom, word to my pops, word to my little bro. They said make your mistakes, but don't make excuses on why you can't live and learn. On a couple occasions I damn near went broke. I'm chasing this music thing, and I ran out of hope. I threw in the towel, said fuck the hole in the street. I kept on writing and touring. I picked up a job cause I knew it was important. The money I made, I would stash it away just to fund my recordings. And I didn't wanna stop cause I didn't know how. I would lay in my room by myself late at night and I finally figured it out. I just wanna be the best version of me, make all the music that I wanna make. I don't care what nobody gon' say. You miss all of the shots you don't take. And the answer is no, if you don't ask. If it gets hard, this too shall pass. God is my witness and he got the plan. He got the plan. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. Yeah. Remember, man, you only in competition with yourself. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Pleasure and pain. R.I.P. the greatest. 0824.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I can't even check it. Actually, I can check it. I'm tripping. Let me check and make sure I can be heard really quick.
And what I have done, I always want to be prepared when I go to the studio. So I
One sec.
I always want to be prepared when I go to the studio.
So we are live. Thank you guys so much for being here at Circle Talk. My name is David, and this woman on that side of me. It's Miss Allison Fine. It's in the building. How you doing today, madam?
I'm good. How are you?
I am here, and and that's just it's been a long weekend, but you know what, I love the opportunity to talk with people, share how I'm feeling, and hopefully get that that response back where we get into a conversation about something that's really needed to be talked about, and that's mental health today. So we want to thank all of you guys for being a part of this this journey today. I want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors real quick. iShotto.com, Icon EMT, the Chaya Movement, and Intentions Juice and Smoothies Bar. Thank you guys so much for being a part of anything that we do here over at Circle Talk. And really excited to just get in the conversation about just back to school, because it is September. And y'all know, as much as kids hate the opportunity to get back into school, it has to happen. summertime is pretty much coming to a close, and we got to get that education. And so let's talk about some things that are going to help them get prepared for it, and kind of give them some direction when they go through certain types of things like new schools or new classes or new circles of people. So we're jump into that. But before we jump into that real quick, um, we got Allison Fine here. I want you to just let us know how has your summer been. Let's talk about summertime. How was your summer?
First, I wanna ask because I was looking on Facebook. I don't see that this is live. So, did you tag me in this? Because I wanted to share it.
Yeah, let me just make sure that, because I know it's on my YouTube and it is on my, like I said, y'all, I've been going through some things. I woke up this morning
Let's talk
and I
about
was
it.
blocked. I was blocked on my Facebook account, and I'm just confused on why, because I don't really post anything that would ever be flagged. And so at the end of the day, I'm like, well, only thing it could be is somebody, throwing jabs at me or whatnot. And so there has been some issues with these postings. I've tried to share it, and every time I looked, it said I was blocked. And so let me go to my Facebook and figure out if we're on Facebook. If we aren't on Facebook and YouTube is out and you guys are watching us on YouTube, thank you for sharing. Make sure you guys continue to share. And
What's the name on YouTube?
Circle Talk. Circle Talk, and it should be right at the top. Said back to school mental health. It should be right at the top. I can send you the link if that's easier for you. But we are
Yeah,
live.
I see it now.
Yeah, we are live. I don't see it on my Facebook either, and so um, definitely thinking that I probably got blocked on my Facebook as well, and which is just a surprise in itself because, like I said, um, you
No,
know,
I'm gonna share it from YouTube onto my Facebook. Fuck it.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And it sucks, man, because like I don't cause any problems with anybody. I just, try to promote, peace, love, and unity and try and lift people up. And there's always those people out there that try and bring a good person down. And so, hey, you know what I'm saying? If you're watching and you are that person, thank you so much for trying to throw a wrench in what I do, because I expected, I've been on this earth for a long while, and there's always going to be that one little hater in the background watching, but hating at the same time. So thank you for being here, but we still moving, we still migrating. I was having a conversation with Allison earlier, and I was just like, like I know that if I don't get on and show up, that they're going to be like, ha, I did my job. I made it possible so that that person cannot go on live. And, regardless if there's 100 people watching or one person watching, we are doing our job as, people that are sharing, their thoughts and feelings about something that's extremely important in a lot of people's lives, and not just mental health, but just life and raising up when all the darkness continues to pull you down. So that's kind of why we're here. So did you find it? Everything's
We
good.
were
Shared
just
it out. We're good to
talking,
go.
so I was letting you talk.
Because I know you was sharing. I know you was
Yeah,
down
no,
sharing
I
and everything.
just shared
So
it from my YouTube and then tagged you in it on my Facebook. I don't care.
thank you. I appreciate that. So
I don't give
let's
a fuck about any haters because I
because they're
period.
there. It's just a part of life.
It is just
Anything
a
is
part
to
of
do.
life. It's a really stupid part of life, but it's absolutely part of life. Like
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I mean, we talked about this on my episode that I was on a few months ago, I think, but
Yeah.
um I'm a comedian, and
Yeah.
as soon as I started doing comedy, I started doing shows. I started the group called the Open Mic Collective, and all that's really doing is creating space for other comics to do open mics and to get better at their craft.
Yeah.
And immediately people started hating on me, and immediately people were like, who is she and who does she think she is? And I'm like, I'm just a person doing a thing. Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yep.
So either you're mad at yourself because you didn't think about it first,
Right.
or uh, people are always, my whole life I've had to deal with this. And this is something interesting too, because one of the things you want to talk about, is going back to school and how, how kids manage going back to school, how families manage back to school, going back to school. And I'll say this, there are a lot of kids at school that will have their lights dimmed by other students or by
Mm-hmm.
teachers or by, you know, people, in the office when they have to go in there and deal with them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people that learn early on to dislike themselves
Right.
because of the fact that someone says you don't fit into a mold, or you don't, you're too this or you're too that.
Right.
And I know we talk about it a lot, when it comes to like kids of color, specifically Black kids, whether it's, why does your hair look like that, or why do you talk like that, why you
Mm-hmm.
dress so flashy or whatever. But it's not, it's kids of all types that get treated that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
if you learn to dim your light for others that early, you will continue to do that as you grow old, because it becomes part of who you are, right? It's just not always being able to be authentic.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I still struggle with today. I'll be 45 in a month, and in the back of my head, there will always be people that say, you're too much this or you too much that, or, and sometimes it's your parents. Like for me, it's my dad. My dad's been gone for almost 12 years, but for me, it's my dad who raised me to be young and free spirited and thoughtful and have opinions and be strong. But then very early on said, "Oh, you got an attitude problem. No one's gonna like you."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't have an attitude problem. I'm just direct.
Right.
And people mistake those things, because I'm also the person that will come rescue you at 3 a.m. when you have a flat tire. I'm also the person that will give you $10 if I only have 15 and you
Right.
need $10. Like, I am the person who is very thoughtful and very humble. And because I'm direct, then people have these perceptions of me. So, this, like I said, this ties back into like the original topic of the day, which is going back to school, mental health, and I just want to tell anybody who's out there, especially, those of you who have strong-willed kids, strong-minded kids who don't always go with the grain, kids who don't always, conform, don't make them, don't let their differences shine and figure out a way to harness it in a positive way, or
Mm-hmm.
they'll learn to hate themselves.
Right. And
And
this isn't just and I like the fact that you are talking about that. Don't let someone else's light dim yours. This isn't just for kids, because there are a lot of adults that are getting back in the school to try and get their degrees, or even their high school diplomas, GEDs. Don't, because I was one of those people. I remember when I went back to school to get my degree, I had such a tough time, you know, dealing with the fact I'm in a class with 16 other people, and I'm the oldest one in that class. You know what I'm saying? Don't let how people are looking at you, and you see the little groups together, and they look over you and they're smiling and giggling at you. Don't let all of that, what's happening over there, dim your light. You're there for yourself,
no, I mean,
to better yourself. So
people don't know your story, right? Like, maybe you
right,
made bad decisions. Maybe you made bad decisions so you didn't graduate high school, right? And
right.
I'm sorry that like I keep moving the camera. I'm just trying to find a place that's like comfortable. And to be
All
honest,
good.
I'm in my room in my bed right now. So trying to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
But maybe you made bad decisions and you went to juvenile hall, and then you got out and you never graduated because of said bad decisions. Or
Mhm.
maybe you had to work to take care of your siblings because your parents struggled. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's nobody's fucking business what you did and why you did it. The
Right.
bottom line is, if you're going back to school to get your diploma, or you're going back to school to get your college degree at a later age, who cares? It's not really
Yeah.
anybody's business. And at the end of the day, you're right. As adults, people try and dim our light. That's why I tied that into the school stuff, because I think that if I had different tools early on and I had different encouragement early on, maybe I'd be different now. But as an adult, those haters, that's what they're trying to do, right? Is they're trying to like dim my light.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't, not to say it doesn't get to me sometime, it does.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I realize that most people, their issues are their issues because they see something in me that they wish they could be. Whether it's that, level of direct, or the hustle that I have, or whatever. And
Yeah.
so, it's just a weird dynamic, because they still get in my head sometimes. The haters definitely get in my head
Yeah.
when they're in my ear. But, I'm not going to stop being me or doing what's best for me because of them. I'm never
Right.
going to let them win.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's kind of my thought, as far as the haters and what you're going through with whatever's happening with your social media and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't allow them to win. And like you said, you don't pay much attention to them, because they're gonna be there either way. And for me, I've been doing really well at trying to brush them away, and continue on my journey. And that is what it is. I was kind of overwhelmed today, though. That's all. Just a little
No,
overwhelmed.
I feel that, but let's also talk about it. Like, this is not just Pacific Northwest exclusive, but
Right.
the passive aggressive behavior here, which I would lovingly refer to, alongside P. Diddy, as bitch assness, is a fucking problem, because
Yeah.
these people will never say this shit to your face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I see that a lot in the 2 years I've been doing comedy. These people will never say that shit to your face. They will never talk about you to your face. They will never be honest with you to your face. They will passively aggressively talk to you crazy from the stage.
Yep.
They won't book you for things. They'll block you from getting booked. They'll tell stories about you. They'll lie about you. They'll go on podcasts and talk shit about you. Like, they'll never be like, this is my problem. And I am not like that. I'm the type of person that's like, hey, if there's a problem, let me know. Now, here's
Yeah,
the
for
thing.
sure.
I don't always, like, I realize that I can be direct, and sometimes that comes off as harsh. And if I did something or said something to someone and it hurt them, and I realize I could have done that better, I could be accountable for that. But if I don't know I did it, how do I be accountable?
Absolutely.
Right? So all of
Absolutely.
this, like, whoever's got an issue with you or whatever, we have become a society where we can hide behind screens, and we can click a button to report some shit and make it seem what it's not, or whatever. And that's and that passive aggressive behavior is problematic, because like going back to my example of comedy, if somebody doesn't like me in comedy, they don't tell me, but they talk about me behind my back, and the other people are naive enough to believe them without getting to know me. Now there's 6 people that don't like me, or there's 12 people that don't like me who tell, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's just,
Absolutely.
it's sad. Like, just be adults. Have the conversation. It's okay to say, you know what, you're not my cup of tea, but we can be adults in the room.
Say what it is, and keep it
And
pushing.
people out here don't like that shit. And I've been here for 10 years now, so I can't say how it is in other parts of the country because I don't live anywhere else.
Right.
But I can say the passive aggressiveness and like the just weak bitch ass behavior that I've experienced here, it's a lot to me, because I'm like, you're trying to make yourself look better by putting me down instead of just having a conversation so we could both be better.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense, you know?
Oh yeah, so we can meet at the same place and say, hey, you have a problem with me. I mean, if there's something out there that that I'm doing that's offending to you, maybe we should discuss it, and then we can talk about it, and as adults, and just get to the bottom of it and either move past it or move in the opposite direction.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. But all
why
like
is
the
it got to be so
changes,
hard for
a
adults to do
conversation.
this? Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Exactly.
it's
So
sad.
you asked me originally about my summer.
Yeah.
Well, it's been kind of weird for me because a couple things. I want to say that we talked about my stabbing on the last
We did
episode,
a
right?
little. Yeah, we touched on it a little bit.
Okay,
We
so
definitely
I'll
touched on it.
just refresh anybody who doesn't see that episode but sees this one. So 5 years ago, next month, October 7th, so October 7th, 2018, my husband at the time had a psychotic break. He was bipolar, using meth and alcohol instead of meds. He had a psychotic break. He stabbed me 9 times. I almost died. He got arrested for murder. I didn't die. So he's in prison. But I have a lot of like lifelong, effects, right?
Yeah.
Mental health, obviously. I have
Yeah.
complex PTSD, which is a beast at times.
Yeah.
This whole part of my face is numb because he stabbed me right here below the eye. So it like sliced a nerve. And so a lot of that nerve endings came back down here. But here, like, it's like this part of my face is completely numb.
Mm.
So like right now, just touching it hurts. So that's a pretty fucked up reminder.
Yeah.
Every moment of every day.
Right.
And then of course, like the scars I have, right? But also, as a bonus from the hospital, I came home with MRSA.
Oh,
And,
dang it.
MRSA is something that I mean, you probably have it working where you work, but
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
anybody that works in a hospital situation or has spent any significant amount of time hospitalized usually has MRSA,
Right.
because it's like a horribly bad staph infection that can kill you though if it goes untreated. So it was a very weird situation where I was supposed to go mid-July out to the gorge with a bunch of comedian friends to camp for 2 days to watch the Burt Kreischer Comedy Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And at the last minute, my little brother from California is like, hey, so it's him, his wife, and my 3 teenage nephews, plus my mother. We're all coming up here to visit,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm also like, thanks for making sure I had time, little brother. Son. Anyways, that's a whole nother episode. So because they were coming up here, I decided not to go on the camping trip, right? Which sucked because I really wanted to go, but somebody bought my tickets, my camping, whatever, it was fine. My brother gets up here. It would have been a stressful week. I had a lot going on at the time with work, and I started to get what I thought was pimples. My brother was here on that Friday of that week. We went up to Seattle, spent the whole day there. It was hot. My face just started, like I had a pimple like right here at the bottom of my nose.
Yeah.
Again, this is my numb side, so it hurt more than even normal. And it's just like expanding, like my face is expanding. It's just swelling up. And I don't want to like pop it where I'm in public because what if it's bleeding? Like I just be gross, right? So I waited. I actually had a comedy show to host that night. I was just miserable. I was exhausted. Like it was bad. And so I come home that night. Again, we're on Friday night. And I go to pop the pimple to like relieve the pressure. And
Mm-hmm.
nothing comes out. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense because my face is like so swollen.
Yeah.
And then I start to like dig in a little bit. No, I had a MRSA infection.
Wow.
And this is the second time I've had a major one. So I knew MRSA looks like, I don't know. Have you ever had one before?
I've never had one. No.
So, like I said, it's probably in your system somewhere because of where you work, but I hope that you never have an outbreak.
Yeah.
So the skin, the tissue, like underneath the skin kind of looks gray, like it's dying almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew as soon as I dug a little bit deeper, I was like, oh, this is MRSA. And so we went to the emergency. My poor mom, she was here on vacation. She takes me in the emergency room. I tell them what it is. They gave me some antibiotics. Then they sent me home with a prescription. Well, Saturday morning, before I could even get it, get the prescription picked up, it was worse. So we went back. So they gave me some IV meds. And then they were like, okay, you should be fine. Go get the prescription. Okay, cool. Saturday afternoon, take those meds. Sunday, take those meds. Wake up Monday morning. So now I've been on full 48 hours. I've been on antibiotics, 2 different antibiotics. Monday morning, I wake up at 2 a.m., like in tears. And I call the nurse's line and I'm like, it's worse. My face is so swollen. And they're like, you need to go to the emergency room. Now, mind you, they wouldn't call it MRSA because they didn't do the test. They kept calling it cellulitis. And I'm like, I know what the fuck it is. Like the same way I know the sky is blue. So when I get there for now the 3rd trip to the ER and they finally admit me. And so I spent 2 days on hardcore antibiotics, including vancomycin, which is it is a antibiotic that will shut your kidneys down. So they had to test you constantly to make sure your kidneys are functioning. Slept basically for 2 days. And it was horrifying, really, what happened. And if you think about it, if I would have gone out to the gorge, I probably would have died, to be honest, because I would have not had any access to medical care. And I would have probably been like, I could tough it out. Give me another shot. Like, I would not. I don't think I would. I mean, I either probably, because if that would have gone in my brain, it would have turned septic very quick. And so I think I definitely could have died. And if not, then they would have been like probably airlifting me out to fucking Harborview. It was miserable. I'm going to show you a picture. Did you see this on my social medias?
No.
When it happened? Okay. I'm going to show you a picture of how bad it got. Sorry to all your viewers.
And this was your summer, right? This was during the summer.
This was July. This is the middle of summer.
Jeez.
This is how I spent my summer. So
didn't even get into the summer.
So there's like when it started.
Yeah.
And then let me show you how bad it got. I think this is probably the worst picture.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see the swelling.
Can you see how bad it is?
Yeah, I see it. Wow.
I'm way too pretty for this.
And you look really mad about it too.
I'm not. That's just my face. Like, honestly, that's not, I don't have any expression. That's just me.
Wow.
And my face is just that swollen. Like this whole side of my face. So it's backwards because of the camera. But so that was the middle of summer. Now, mind you, I also was in the process of resigning from my job at the state of Washington.
Right.
I was very unhappy there.
I think I remember you saying something about that too.
Yes, I was very unhappy there. So they were doing some things that they shouldn't be proud of, and I will just keep it at that, right? You know, on live camera. And I called them out on that. And so it was a war of like, who's going to come for who first. And I realized the stress on my body was causing me to wear a knee brace when I was at work. Like my knee was hurting. And it was so bad that I was wearing a knee brace at work, but I would get off of work and I would take it off and it would feel 80% better. That's not normal. That's not normal. A job should never cause your physical stress like that, right?
Right.
So literally the week that all that happened, the week that I ended up in the hospital was the week that I was also like negotiating, like leaving the state of Washington. And so I was in the hospital that Monday was technically my last day at the state. And I was hospitalized during it.
Wow.
Bro, it was insane.
I mean, it sounds insane. Sheesh.
It took like another 3 weeks for my face to totally like heal up.
Yeah.
And all these antibiotics, and whenever you have that many antibiotics, then your body like wigs out in other ways. And like, I won't even explain it because it's not fun. But your body just trips out because you've put all this, you know, antibiotics into your system. And so your body's, you know, trying to clear all that out. But then I didn't have a job and I have been fine. So it's been 6 weeks since I quit the state of Washington. I went home with a settlement that allowed me to stay home for probably 3 months. because I was not going out like a punk. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And so, I've been doing some projects around the house. I've had some guests. I had some comedy guests stay here, some more local from like Salem. And then last week I had a woman from Detroit that came here and spent a whole week here. I met her when I was in Detroit on a comedy festival. So she spent a whole week with me. She's like a headliner level. And so I booked, like, we had mics and shows all over. We went from Seattle all the way down to Salem, Oregon and back.
Yeah. You was working.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like for someone without a job, I'm fucking busy. So
Yeah.
it's been kind of wild. I also, I don't know if I had started my podcast when we met or if I was about to.
Remember, you told me, I think it was supposed to start probably a week or two after we had a conversation on here.
Yeah.
So
we've done 10 episodes now of
nice.
Old Heads, Young Minds. That's my podcast with my partner Robert Pinner.
Nice.
we've actually banked 11 episodes. So this weekend we're doing 12 and 13. That's going really, really well. We're both comedians, but we also have like a whole big life story, lots of trauma between the two of us. So it's really sort of in the same vein as what you talk about, right? Like mental health, about people in the community. Do you know Christian Page?
The name sounds familiar.
He's a poet. He's the Tacoma Poet Laureate right now.
Is he light skinned with long hair?
Yeah, he's got dreads. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
and he's black and Japanese. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I remember him from a few things that I've done, but John Gaines, Gaines are really close.
Him through John as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to John. You saw he had a
shout out to John. What's up?
Yeah, and it's his birthday.
Congratulations, happy birthday and happy new fatherhood to a son.
I remember meeting John when Emily was pregnant with their first kid, and now this is their third baby.
It's crazy, right? Life is crazy.
His birthday, so
absolutely.
Happy birthday, John, and congrats to you and Emily for
absolutely.
A beautiful thing. Of
joy. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Christian Page was on there. BP Parker from Love Is Dope.
Shout out to BP. He's been on here too.
Yeah, he's going to be on our podcast this weekend. So it's like we're doing a lot of like interesting things and people that we think are of value outside of the community as well as inside the comedy community. So that's going on. And then I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I've had a lot of amazing comedy opportunities, so I don't know what's next. I'm going to substitute teach probably because my master's is in education. I was a teacher before I was a social worker. So I think I'm going to sign up to substitute. Then I can work when I want to. I have healthcare through other means, so I don't need to really worry about healthcare, and just take some time to figure out what my next steps are. People are like, oh, you quit for comedy? I'm like, fuck no. What are you talking? No, I'm not even 2 years in. No, I'll be 2 years in at the end of this month. The September 29th is my 2-year anniversary.
You quit because you got a plan.
I have a generalized plan, and I really just needed a break from work.
Yeah.
But comedy,
that works too.
I'm gonna be a famous comedian. Like if that happens, that's cool. But that was never my intention.
The initial, right?
My intention behind quitting was not to be abused by by my management anymore.
Absolutely.
And they were the things that they were saying were just egregious. Like they would say like, you said the word elephant in that email, and I'm like, here's the email. I said giraffe, and they'd be like, no, you said elephant. It literally says giraffe. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
They were gaslighting themselves at that point. And so I was like, if y'all don't like me and I don't like y'all, let's just go our separate ways.
Absolutely.
And my whole mental health is so much in a better spot because of that. So the summer's been weird. It's
been a little bit up, a little bit of down, a little bit of all.
I mean, I didn't die, so that's
right.
good.
Right. Still able to keep living and smiling, and
really thought. I mean, that MRSA was scary though. So I'm glad.
I believe it. I just last week I was just we were just hit with a another COVID outbreak on our house, which, most people thought COVID. I mean, is that still around? No,
Oh yeah, a lot of
it's
my friends
still
have
around.
COVID right now. There's a whole wave going around for sure.
Yeah, it's a whole nother wave of it. And like our whole house, like a majority of our house had gotten it. So, we had to shut down our whole house and
No
had to
fun.
be fully, clothed with all the protective, stuff. Like, if you ever seen the movie Contagion or one of those movies, yeah, we was in all of that stuff, wearing all of that gear. It was crazy, crazy. But
Well, I'm glad you guys are okay.
yes, absolutely. Everybody's doing well, and I think we hit our 10 days. Because obviously, it's a 10-day period
Right.
when it comes into the house where they have to, kind of stay away from each other.
Well, did that
But
prevent your kids from going back to school?
it had nothing to do with me, because I was always protected, and I
Oh,
always
so
wore
you didn't
all of
get
it.
it.
No, that the house where I work at, because we
Oh,
work
you're
in
talking about work.
houses.
You did not
Yeah,
explain that.
yeah.
You said my
No
house.
COVID here.
So
No
I'm
COVID
thinking your
here.
kids. You didn't say your work house.
Yeah, my work house. I apologize. No COVID in Dad's house. No, no,
Okay,
none of
that's why
that
I'm just
around these
like, wow.
parts.
But yeah,
No.
of course, I'm sure at a place like where you work, like I'm sure
Yeah.
that shit runs rampant. So,
Oh yeah, it's
well, I'm
crazy.
glad you didn't get it because you would have brought it home to your kids. Shit.
Well, and that's why I stay heavily protected. I follow the rules that they and guidelines they tell us that we need to follow, and I don't mess around with that. So, but let's talk about um, do teachers deal with mental health when it comes to teaching?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
of
that's
course.
something that because obviously with this was more focused on people going back to school, but the teachers have to go back to school too and deal with the stresses of creating a curriculum, and the children that they're dealing with. You could be dealing with some children, teenagers usually are the ones that kind of give a lot of pushback and things of that nature. Do can you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I mean, I haven't taught in a long time, right? But I'm a fifth
Right.
generation teacher. So I'll
Mm,
say this: number one, if you are a teacher and also a parent, you're getting a
mhm.
double whammy of what life is like come
Yeah.
September, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're getting your own kids to school and dealing with your own kids and their issues at school, but you're also now responsible for your own classroom and impacting the lives of the kids that you teach.
Yeah.
um I think teaching is really, from what I can tell, I think teaching is really um is I think I think teachers are some of the most dedicated people to their jobs, right?
Yeah.
So if you're really dedicated to your job, then it's inherently going to be stressful because you want to do what's best for those kids at all times. And
Hmm.
there is a lot of moving parts to being a teacher. Plus, most school districts don't have funding, so
Yeah.
you're being creative with how you're teaching lessons, or you're coming out of your own pocket, things
Hmm.
like that. That said, I would say teachers who love or hate their jobs, it really comes down to the districts and even sometimes the schools that they work in. Because I have friends that work in the same district, and some of them hate their jobs and some of them absolutely love it. And it usually isn't the kids, it's usually administration or parents. Sorry,
Hmm.
parents, but it's true.
Yeah.
um I think that we are in a weird space now where the internet makes things weird. I just saw that video.
Yeah.
I don't know if did you see that video yesterday with the white girl and the black teacher? I don't
No.
know where they were. Oh, the white girl threw something at the board. I want to say she threw her shoe, and
Uh,
the teacher, who was probably, I don't know, like early 50s black woman, she was just in her face and she was just like, "You need to leave my classroom." And this little white girl had her feet up on the desk, like just hella disrespectful to her. Like,
wow.
what are you gonna do? You can't make me. And I'm like, the patience of a saint that woman had, right?
Yeah.
Because these kids come out of pocket. I'm not saying when I went to high school 27 years ago, the kids didn't talk like that, because I had homies that definitely acted like that. But it was it was rare that somebody did that. Somebody behaved that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that that little girl wasn't going through it and that she didn't need to be loved through that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But, woo, the way she was coming at her, I was like, I don't know if I have the patience to do this full time for real.
Yeah.
Because I think that, you know, now everyone's videotaping it and the kids think it's cute and they put it on their TikTok or they put it on their Instagram or whatever. So I definitely think that there's a huge a mental health concern that I would have for anybody that teaches nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to school is stressful, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of it is based on what your administrators are like, how supported you feel. If you have a kid like that in class, but you know you can call security and security is going to deal with it, cool. If you know that you send a kid to the office and they're going to get handled, fine. But if you have an administration that's just going to send the kid back to class, so you don't even bother to do it, because then you send that kid out, kid comes back to class, now the kid think they won. So you don't feel supported. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You know, that's like, for a parent, that's like your inability to discipline your kids. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you discipline your kids, you know, whether you spank them, timeouts, right? You know, whatever, sentences, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's say you take away their PlayStation when they're acting up, right? Like, let's say
Mm.
that's how you punish your son.
Right.
But now the rules are you're not allowed to take away his video game.
Hmm.
And you're not allowed to spank him, and you're not allowed to put him on time. How do you discipline your own kid? And that's where a lot of teachers have been left. If they don't feel supported, then what do? How do they handle those situations? And that's kind of a messed up space to be in. And
Yeah.
of course, then that affects you as the teacher and your own mental health.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's interesting when you really think about it. You talk about when we were kids and how
Way back in the
it
day.
was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I'm 46, so
I'm almost 45.
it
Yeah.
was a long while ago.
What are you,
And
class of 95?
I was supposed to be 95, but
Oh, okay.
I did some dibbling and dabbling when I was a sophomore with a senior, living the senior life as a sophomore, and yeah, I was way too grown for my own good, and so hey, it is what it is. But like I remember people that had those mentalities where they didn't necessarily have to follow any rules or regulations of anybody.
That's
Um,
wild to me.
and it's like you said, technology has made it so all of those situations that we remember back in the day that were never on camera and never seen, only the people in that
Only the
particular
people in
room
the
at
room.
that
Yeah.
time seen that. Now everybody get to see it, and everybody wants to get their likes up, and everybody wants to get that million views, you know what I'm saying, so they can make some money, because it's just crazy how it is. But yeah, I remember those days, and I know it's still it still continues, and it's sad because I don't think anything has really changed much about being a parent. I mean, being a parent is everybody does it their own way. Like you said, if I discipline my son a certain type of way, and his mom disciplines him differently. I mean, like she may not whoop him, but if he gets to the point where I can't talk to him, and writing isn't working and timeout isn't working, then you have to find the next level. And I am a next level dad. I got whoopings when I was little.
Yeah,
That.
but parents do that. I mean, I know I use that like as an example, but
Mm-hmm.
like parents use that kind of stuff against each other when it comes to like court battles about their kids.
And it's
They'll
sad.
they'll they'll try and have a court order that says the other parent can't discipline the kid, you know, in this manner, or they have to do this. And it's like, that's crazy. But think about how that's taking there. It's about power and control, right? It's me
Mm-hmm.
as the mom telling you as the dad, I still get to control things in your house, even though we're divorced, or even though, you know what I'm saying, we
Right.
don't live together.
Right.
That's horrible. And that's how
And
it is, you know, I mean, that power dynamic in a interpersonal, in a family relationship, gets crazy. But it's not, for a teacher, just like you as a dad want to be supported by his mom, and you should be supporting her, as you know what I'm saying? Like,
Teachers
you
want
may
to be
not like
supported
her,
by
I don't know
the
what your guys'
parents.
relationship is or whatever, but at the end of the day, you should be more of a united front than anything.
Yeah,
And
for
there are a
sure.
lot of schools where teachers don't feel that way. They don't feel like they have the kind of support from the office,
Absolutely.
that to really back up any problems that they're having is what it comes down to. So I think, yes, teachers have a lot of mental health stuff. And then I think kids, I mean, we have a whole generation of kids now that started school in COVID, and kids that missed, all of junior high because of COVID. Now they're in high school, and kids that missed, their former, like, I don't know. It's a weird world. It's a weird world.
So I have this list, and I just wanted to read it off really quick while we're deep into this conversation on mental health and going back to school and just being in the school environment. Let me just read this for you guys. It's a few tips, and I think we might have touched on a few of them. Just mental health tips. Number one, remind your child that they're not alone. I think you touched on that one. That was one of the main things that you had touched on, was making sure that your child or even your significant other as an adult knows that, anything that you're going through while you're going back to school and you're in a new environment, new people, new situation, that you're never alone in that situation. And that's something that we have to continue to do.
We just talked about the Gameses, right? Emily and John. And
Yeah.
And as a good example of that, in a similar way, it has nothing to do with them being alone. Sorry, I'm so fidgety today. I don't know what's going on with it. As a good example of that, I just saw Emily post a big happy birthday post to John, and this morning, right?
Yeah.
I just saw it, but it was from, like 11 o'clock this morning or something. And I was like, girl, did you just have a baby this morning? Like, she had a baby this morning. Yeah. And then post this very loving, sweet, kind, emotional, happy birthday to her husband. Absolutely. Because she wanted to make sure that he realizes that this wasn't just about her. Today wasn't just about her or that new baby. It's still his birthday. Right. And I commented on that, and I said exactly that. I was like, that speaks volumes about her as a wife, right? Yeah. Like, that she was just like, even with everything, and she didn't even mention the baby or having given birth this morning. Like, she just like, happy birthday to my husband. Here's all the great things about him, bunch of cute pictures, whatever. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's how we should all seek to be with our partner and our kids. Like, absolutely. We damage our kids more than anybody. Like, let's keep it 100, right? Like, it's a lot of, it's a rare parent who doesn't damage their own kid, because we are not perfect as humans. But the world will, at least most of us, still love our kid. And sometimes we go too hard on our kids, or we say something to them, we're like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that, or we gotta fix that, or yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes, absolutely. The world doesn't do that. The world generally doesn't give a fuck. So the world will kick you while you're down and keep it moving, and you'll never see that, you'll never get any apologies from the people doing the thing to you. Yeah. So even though parents can harm kids, and let's be real, teenagers, middle schoolers, they can fuck up parents. Like, kids can be brutal to their parents too. Like, it's definitely a two-way street in some spaces. So if as parents we are affirming and say, like, I love you. I know one of the things my mom used to say when she was mad at me, she'd be like, I don't like you right now, but I love you, And that's just a reminder that, hey, you know what? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We might be going through a tough time, but we'll get through it. And then reassuring your kid that, they're okay, especially, especially if you have, if you're raising kids of color, if you're raising, queer kids, if you're raising kids that are neurodivergent, kids with autism, but they're in their regular classes, they get called all kinds of mean names, and people say horrible things. So if you can as a parent, if you can remind your kids every single day that they are loved and that today might be a tough day, but we'll get through it. It's good for their soul. It's good for your soul. And those are lessons that they're going to take on in their life, whether it's a reminder to themselves or a reminder to, to their own kids when they have kids, to be reassuring. And so I think it is important. I remember I was in elementary school. I was in my mom's school,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the office calling my little brother from the office phone because we didn't have cell phones back then.
Yeah.
And I got off the phone and I said, I love you to my little brother. And I got off the phone and all these secretaries were looking at me. And I was like, what? So I was probably like 12. And they were like, did you just tell your little brother that you love him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wish my kids would do that. Well, my family does that. Like, teach your kids. What do you mean?
And
Weird. I can remember that at 45. I can still remember that exact day and exactly how that went down. But at the end of the day, that's because my family was big on I love you.
Yeah. And for me, I was the complete opposite. We never said I love you. I never told my brothers I loved them, but we knew that we was tight as thieves. Never gotten in a fight with any of my brothers ever in
What do you
life.
teach your kids though?
I teach my kids differently. I tell them I love them all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? We have a group text, and I text them as often as I can, just let them know I was thinking about them and I love them,
They're probably like, ooh, he's annoying with this shit.
They
love
probably
you too,
do.
Dad.
And I take tons of pictures. They hate pictures, but Dad's a picture guy. We didn't have any pictures growing up. We have probably like 2 or 3 pictures of us as a family together. We were poor. We was dirt poor. We didn't have nothing. We couldn't afford nothing. All the finer things in life. We didn't have none of that stuff. So, I mean, all the things that most families we see on TV or, some of our favorite families that we see on Facebook, all over internet, posting all the cool things and places that they go and things that they do. My family ain't never done none of that stuff.
Right.
We never had the money to do it. We still don't have the money to do it. I mean,
that's because you got all them kids.
But hey, that's okay. I wouldn't change a thing about what I have. Every one of them, I love them all.
But at the end of the day, material stuff and all of that is good when you can. But the love is what matters more.
I love my kids to death, and like every day is I'm always working to be better. Because there was a time when I wasn't that loving, fun, exciting, annoying dad. I was the dad that was working the weekends, having them on the weekends, but having shows on the weekends. So basically, kids was with grandma and dad was out performing. And so, I was.
What else is on that? What else is on that list?
Okay. Let's get back to it then. Let's get back to it. See, I had changed for a second. Let me go right back to. Okay, so number 2 was help your child know what to expect. I mean, and this is a great one, and I'm gonna touch on this one, and I'll let you go into it as well. But this is something that I've really been working extremely hard on when it comes to my son. He's 5 years old. He's just about to start school. I've been trying to get him in the mind frame of being in a class setting and the things that are going to happen when you get into the cloud setting. So every Monday, he's on a 8:30. You brush your teeth, get ready for bed. We put him down.
He didn't go to preschool.
He went to it was preschool, but it was more daycare / school.
And they didn't teach him any of that?
They taught him stuff, and they taught him a lot of stuff about
usually they do
school. But I wanted to just continue it.
No, that's
and
good.
So Mondays, we do the same thing every Monday. We do writing. We work on our ABCs. We starting to get him into adding and subtracting.
Oh, that's great.
Like just trying to get him a little bit ahead of the game. He's like, Dad, I don't need all this stuff. This is like first, second grade stuff. I was like, well, then great. You'll be ahead of the game when you get there. You know what I'm saying?
Also, how you know what first and second graders do? Shut up.
Right. But that's it. That's his attitude. He's like, Dad, why am I doing all this stuff? This stuff is all
Well,
above me. I was like, well,
one
son.
thing that I recommend, like when you have little kids like that, is make it fun, right? Like reading, when you get to a stop sign, say, what is that right there? What does it say?
Yeah.
And using just whatever's going on around you, and then they're learning and they don't even realize they're learning. So if you're at a park and you're like, oh, the leaves are changing, right? Like, wow, these leaves are all different colors. What color is this one? What color is that one?
Yeah.
And making that fun helps them normalize, learning. But I think that routine, I mean, if he was in some sort of a preschool program, that he should have learned some routine. But I think that it's good. I mean, he's 5, so he's in kindergarten now.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, he's now he's in the big leagues. So
Yeah. But it's like I was really big on just making sure that he was in a routine of just even though he was going to preschool 2 days a week. I wanted to make sure that he knew hey, you're gonna be doing this every day. And so we're gonna kind of get in this mind from getting up early, getting ready for school, even though he doesn't start school for another week. We're still working on getting him in that routine.
yeah.
And so yes, being ahead of the game is a great thing. Even when you are as young as 5, or like I was 40 years old when I started back to school and got my degree. So yeah, for sure. Did you want
But
to?
I just think that at every age level, the tip that you read was like making sure your kids know what to expect. And I think that is at every age level. That's why it's important that you go to those orientations. That's why it's important
Yeah.
that, if your kid works better with a map, get them a map. Like know your kids, boundaries, and know how they work best and help support them that way. And then, in my opinion, then you can also let them, help them learn how to deal with it when things aren't going their way.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes kids get so used to having someone cater to them or expecting a routine that then when the routine turns upside down, it's a mess. No. We need to learn some strategies for coping when shit goes haywire.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Life, right? So
That is
I
life.
think that's a good tip. That's a good tip. What's next?
All right. Number 3 is praise all your child's efforts. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if they have homework and they come home and it's just writing your name, your first, middle, last name, and you do your best to do so, and you got to praise them for every win, even if it's just even if it doesn't look verbatim to what is written on the paper. If he can get through it or she can get through it, you got to praise them for doing well, and just throw out those little tips as you're praising them. Throw those tips on how you can become a little bit better, or work on your A's maybe, or your E's. I mean, because I always see my son, he struggles so much with his A's and his E's and understanding 6s and 9s, those kind of things.
He's 5.
Yeah, but he's 5.
I would say this: focus on the word praise and not the word reward, because I think some people think that they should reward their kid for everything they do. Right. That's how you end up with a very spoiled kid. So I think that giving them verbal praise is really important, and then rewarding the big milestones like occur. But if parents who pay for grades and stuff like that, I never understood that, because I'm like, you're rewarding them for doing what they're supposed to do as it is, which is go to school, right? And get good grades. The other thing is, I think that moments like that are times to praise, but also, like you said, to like maybe correct. But I would give the praise, just be mindful that you give the praise first.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God, that 6 looks amazing. Like, let's try it one more time and let's see if we can get it to look a little rounder at the bottom.
Yep.
Don't say, oh, it looks, you need to do it better, but the first time was good. Like, give them the praise first, and then give them the suggestion, because then their brain opens up to, oh, I did a good job. And then when the parent, or whomever says, hey, let's try it and let's get it a little more perfect, then their brain is like, oh yeah, let's do it even better this time. But if you start with, oh, you could do it better, but the first time was good, that's not the order that's gonna have them most open and willing to want to learn.
Sometimes it's all about the delivery.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? If you're excited, and that this might not be the way that it's supposed to be, but if you add excitement to that was such an amazing job. How about we try, like you said, how about we just try it
using
one
a
more
tone of
time?
voice. Yeah.
It's all about the deliveries. A lot of times, even in my field of work, I work with vulnerable adults that are some of them are age levels are 9 to 15 years old, and I'm doing some of these things where I'm teaching them how to write their names, or teaching them how to do certain things, or differentiate colors, things of that nature. It's all about excitement. Anytime I am with someone, I always try to maintain my excitement level, because if I'm excited, then they'll be more excited to be a part of whatever it is that we're doing.
Yep.
If I'm on them and I'm down on them about everything that isn't going right, then they're not going to be wanting to be a part of this. So
They can read your energy.
absolutely, energy levels, that's a great one. So let's go into this next one real quick. This is number 4. Pay attention to your own anxiety. Oof, that's kind of a good one. That's a good one. Because your child may come home. You may have had a rough day at work, and somebody
I don't
may
think
have.
it's just anxiety. I think that's weird that they just picked one
Yeah,
mood.
that's what they
I think it's
said.
just pay attention. I think it's check your own feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Feelings is a
Period.
good. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good
Because
way
if
to
we
put
come
it.
home pissed off at work, or we had an argument with our spouse, or we are anxious about something, or
Hmm.
we were sick this month, and we don't know if we have enough to pay the bills and buy groceries.
Right.
All of that definitely, falls into if we allow it,
Hmm.
our kids, it goes back to the energy. Our kids will
Energy.
absolutely pick
See
up
it.
on that energy, and they will
Feel it.
develop their own bad habits. Like, I have
Absolutely.
friends who their kids are really fucking anxious and they act super dramatic, and it's because their mamas are that way. And I'm like, well,
My son. I ain't gonna say it, but yeah, my son's got a little bit of that. All right, number 5, get enough sleep. Um, I
sure.
mean, yeah, I don't sleep much, but I do know that my levels of excitement, levels of ability, levels of willingness to do the work does have an effect when I'm tired. I'm sure all of us feel that way sometimes.
Well, we grew up thinking that everyone needs 8 hours a night, which is not true. Everyone's body's different. Just
Mhm.
know what your body needs, respect it. When your body tells you to sit down and rest, sit the fuck down and rest. Like,
Absolutely.
yes.
I'm a workaholic too, and
I mean,
sometimes I
that's
need to
good.
remind myself, yo, bro, slow down.
Well, and sometimes if you need to sleep all day, sleep all day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
don't get into a space where you're doing that every single day, obviously, because now we're talking about depression or something else going on.
right.
But if you need a break, take a break. And sometimes they're unplanned.
Yeah,
We don't always,
absolutely.
that's why a lot of employers are big on like mental health days now, because sometimes you need it. So, and those are
Mhm.
habits, again, that you teach your kid.
Absolutely.
So, and if you get up in the morning because you didn't sleep, um, you know, you didn't sleep in the morning. I mean, you didn't sleep at night. Now you got up. Now you're being grumpy. And you're just like, oh my God, I need coffee. I didn't sleep. You think your
Right.
kids are watching that? You think your kids aren't going to stop? When your kids need coffee at 12 years old, they don't fucking need coffee, but they heard you say it enough.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm so tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, my daughter all the time, I'm so tired. You slept 14 hours. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Stop it. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
it's like, that's another thing. Get enough sleep, whatever your body needs, whatever your body requires, but be mindful of when you are tired and how your kids are responding to that, because they
Hmm.
will pick up on those same bad habits, even if it's just complaining.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Number 6, schedule quality time together. I think a lot of us miss the mark on this. And that's just me personally. I know sometimes I need to reevaluate some of my schedule and open up slots for quality time with my kids, because yes, I do have 5 kids. So I need to make sure that I'm not leaving anyone out. So I have to
Well, that's
find
hard
time
because you
for them.
also have 5 kids with different mothers, right? So it's not
Hmm.
like they're all under the same house at
Right.
the same time. But like but some of your kids are also adults, right? So they
Yes.
drive, I'm assuming.
Hmm. Yep.
So having, and this is something people think that they have to start early on, but you can start at any time. We're
Hmm.
having Taco Tuesdays, and every
Yeah.
Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we're having tacos, and the family's getting together. And if the older kids can't make it all the time, they can't, but they know they're welcome. My friend who is a state representative, she has family fun Fridays or whatever, and sometimes
Hmm.
it's doing, some obscure shit, and some of it's
Yeah.
kind of work related for mom or dad or whatever. But like the kids are there, or if they miss it, they try and make it up on Saturday or whatever. So it's like, it's just, you're never gonna be perfect, but like, scheduling those times, whether it's as your whole family with your kids, or if you're in a situation like you where you have multiple households, figuring
Hmm.
out a time for each group,
Yeah.
then and then, once or twice a year, do something bigger, whether it's go on a trip or go see a concert with your older kids or something like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I when my oldest two were a little bit younger, that was something that we had established every Sunday was family dinner. And I gave them the option to, if they wanted to bring a friend, they were able to bring a
well,
friend,
that's
so that
cool.
we all could hang out together, and I can get
That's
to know
cool.
some of the people that she's hanging out with, or
That's smart.
what I'm saying. And so that was our thing every Sunday. We used to do family dinner. um
And
you
that's,
know
I mean, a lot of that family dinner stuff is, um, it's not, it's not really based in culture. It's based really, I think, in religion, right? Because it has to do with, getting together for church on Sunday, or like Jewish people would be Saturday, right? So,
hmm yeah.
um, So I think that, you can still have those. I mean, I think we watch, something like Soul Food, or we watch, you know,
hmm
I mean, you see black families that, everybody goes to Big Mama's house, and,
yeah.
she makes whatever, but it's really families that are rooted in religion that started having those meals because they would go to church and then they would have a meal afterwards.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be religious to have the meal, and you don't have to do it on Sunday, and you can do it on Tuesday because that's what works for your family, or have,
hmm
when wacky Wednesday and you guys make something silly, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
do whatever works within your family. But I think that scheduling quality time, at the end of the day, there are lots of times where I think I know this is gonna sound morbid. I don't really care. Like, I don't have a dad, he's dead, and I've almost died. So I'm really, I guess, in a different space with like mortality, because I've been there.
hmm
Um, I often say, like, if this person died today, did I love them enough? Do they know that I love them? Did I, even when I'm arguing with somebody, like, is this, if they got hit by a bus, would this be the last conversation I'd want to have had with them?
mm
And sometimes that guides me and how I deal with people.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
not always, but um, there's so many times that we what if, or we could have, but it's sort of that concept that's kind of popular now, which is like giving someone their flowers while they're alive, right? Like
Absolutely.
celebrating people now. It's that same concept. Like, don't what
Absolutely.
if, what I wish I would have. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe you can't go on a family trip to Italy because there's 70 y'all, and that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But maybe you can, have game night every Thursday, and
Hmm.
then
Absolutely.
ask the older girls to commit to at least one time a month or twice a month that they come over. Like, there are things that you can do as a parent, even in a household where there's multiple families and multiple households or whatever,
Hmm.
that you could do. I mean, honestly, I have so many friends that have like families like yours where there's multiple households, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any friends? And I'm sure you have this experience too. Friends that say like, I don't even know my brothers and sisters. It's fucking weird to me.
Yeah, that's definitely I've heard that before.
There's a lot of people that have
Um,
that because daddy was a Rolling Stone or whatever, and the baby mamas don't want to get along or whatever, and that makes me sad. Like,
yeah.
y'all had kids together. You know what? I don't care that you decided to have his ninth kid. You
Mhm.
know what it was, bitch, when you
Yeah.
got in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew what it was. Very rarely do you not know what you was dealing with when you decided to lay with that person, right? So
Yep.
now you have a kid, and you're not making an effort to have your kid connecting to his siblings.
Yeah,
That's
I've been very fortunate to not have to deal with any issues in that aspect of my life when it comes to um, finding time for all of them to be together. My
But you're
my
also making the effort. So wait, what I'm hearing you say is like, I don't have too much baby mama drama in that
Not
area.
in that at
But
all.
you're
No,
also making an
but
effort to do it.
yeah, absolutely.
There are
I'm
lots
with
of
mine.
dads out there. I have friends that have 20 kids. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? First of all, ew. Second of all, like, that's what are you doing to an entire generation of kids, right?
Right.
So for me, it's like parents. I don't know, man. Parents. Uh, in my opinion, parents should make the best effort. And if you both got kids by the same person, or you get remarried and he has 3 kids and you got 2 kids, make sure they get to know each other. Like, there's nothing there's nothing that can be bad, that can come bad out of trying to be a family and trying to teach values that are family values.
Hmm.
Because growing up in your whole life, and like knowing you got a brother up the street and never knowing him, that's
Right.
sad to me.
Yeah.
That's really sad to me. So again, that's all someone being intentional about carving out time and making the effort.
That's
And
interesting
some
too.
situations are a little more complicated than others, but
Hmm. I want to say something real quick, sidebar, because you had mentioned something about giving someone flowers, and I just wanted to touch on this real quick because yesterday I did an event for those that don't know called Battle of the Barbers, put together by Herb. He's been doing this since 2018. He's been putting on these barber battles, and yesterday there was a situation that happened where one of the people that he had put on the barber battle for the week, or the last time he did it, had decided to create his own barber battle on the same day and tell all the
oh,
people that were a part of the barber battle before about his battle and that they could be a part of it for free. And so last night during the battle, the amount of people that usually show up to his events, it wasn't quite at that place. But myself and a couple other people that know her personally and have ran with him for a long while, we decided to take a moment to just, do exactly that, give him his flowers because he is not only one of the nicest people in the world that I've ever met, but he's also going through a lot outside of being a barber, being a dad, creating these barber battles for everyone to be a part of. He's going through like a um, life-threatening illness, and like to see him work as hard as he does and not get recognition for that. It just felt like the best opportunity for us to do that. And I may have said some things yesterday and put some of his business out there that he didn't want people to know about. But I thought that the time was needed. I thought it was needed because people don't understand, what a person is truly going through until you hear the reality of a situation. And me and Herb have had many, many conversations outside of, being in front of the limelight and battles and whatnot. He's come over and we've hung out at my house and whatnot. But he's such an amazing person. And I just wanted to just thank him while we're here, just for being an amazing person and, just giving us an opportunity to, be seen, be heard, showcase our talents, anything that we're all about. He's a great guy.
It sounds like Herb has some haters. Goes back to
Oh,
that
I
hater
mean,
conversation.
it's crazy. You would think this person has created this opportunity for all of you guys to not only get recognition from all of the barbers all over the Northwest, but you also get an opportunity to win trophies, win money, get your name put in limelight, and you're gonna go and step on this dude's toes and take what he has created and walk all over it because you have some weird beef with it. It just really rubbed me the wrong way when I heard about it. It was
Haters.
so messed up. But
And
anyways,
I don't know what you said you might have put some business out there he didn't love yesterday, right? And
yeah.
but you also mentioned that, he's dealing with some illness and stuff like that. And it's like, it's amazing to me. I'm an external processor, so I really don't have a problem talking about what I'm going through because
Yeah.
I know that my story might tell someone else it's okay to live within your truth at that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes down to, I think maybe I formed that sort of method of dealing with things maybe when, I don't know if you remember this, when God, it's probably 20 years ago now, when Dan Savage, who does the Savage podcast, he started, I believe he's the one that started, and he's from Seattle, matter of fact, I think he's the one that started that It Gets Better campaign. And it was basically, there was an uproar in, uptick in teen suicide among queer teens.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was all these celebrities participated in this campaign, and they were like, we got teased for being gay, or we got mistreated, or whatever, but it gets better. Like, as we became adults, like, life changed and it gets better. And it was really about prevention of suicide for these kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in order for them to do that, those gay adults, some of them, people didn't even know they were gay. So they were coming out and being open and honest and saying, like, I know you see me in the spotlight and I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm a whatever, and I've been in your shoes, and don't give up. Like, you're here, and life does get better. And so I think that was sort of when I realized, like, being open and honest, sometimes you don't know who you're going to affect. When my husband, prior to my stabbing, that spring, actually the same year, 2018, we got pregnant. And we were trying to have a baby, and we got pregnant, and he told everyone that we were pregnant, which I was not happy with because we were very early on. And then I
Yeah.
had a miscarriage.
Oh.
And we were very open and honest about our miscarriage, because what choice did we have, to be honest? But
Yeah, absolutely.
it was amazing, me processing through my miscarriage publicly. It was crazy, the amount of people who were messaging me publicly and privately and saying, like, I had 4 miscarriages before I had my kid, or, I've never been able to have a baby. I've had 5 miscarriages, or this is my own struggle with infertility, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women, we look at it like, oh, something's wrong with our body, and that's why we can't get pregnant. Like, we are broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so having that external processing, being open and honest,
Mm-hmm.
we don't like to do because we feel vulnerable. So, like, your friend, whatever it is that you might have said that was a little uncomfortable for him, He probably doesn't talk to about it because he doesn't want the attention, because he doesn't want to be vulnerable, whatever. But at the end of the day, by talking about it, maybe people can understand where he's at or why he might make his own decisions, or they might reach out to him to support him more because they don't realize he even needed support. So,
Right.
I'm glad that you gave him his flowers. I hope that,
Yeah.
whoever planned that other event should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
Because
Not
there's
cool.
no reason. Like, you could have had your own thing on a different day in 3 months. Like,
Yeah.
that's a straight up hater move. But
Absolutely.
shout out
Absolutely.
to Herb. I don't know him, but I'm sorry that someone, once again, just like we talked about at the top of the cast, like, somebody saw what you were doing and they were jealous and they decided to be a hater. Like,
Absolutely.
they're not even worth it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm
Yep.
sorry that you had to be affected by that, because that sucks.
Absolutely. Well, let's get back to these tips real quick. My son is still in the other room, and I'm sure he's ready to bust through this door and be like, "Dad,
Like,
are you done yet?"
the house isn't on fire, so that's good.
No, he's chilling. He's doing good. Encourage daily movement. And then it says, I can't really read the rest of it. Children need 1 hour of physical activity a day, riding a bike, dance party, or whatever gets them moving.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. Keep a routine. It's number 8. I'm huge on routines. Like, and I've really changed I've been at my job for 10 years, and I've noticed, working with a vulnerable population of adults, that routine is everything to them.
Yeah.
And so I have kind of incorporated that into anything that I do with not just my son, but even with my 13 and 15-year-old daughters. Like yesterday, we all went out together. They were all there with me at the event, and they were helping dad, and we was, having a good time, and we were taking pictures. And to me, I think that it's important to make sure that they are not left out of the things that I do. Like when I used to do shows, I was always at these 21 and up shows, and so they could never be a part of that. Now I try to incorporate myself into things where I can include them into it, and so.
But
Yeah.
I think the keep a routine part goes back to setting expectations too, right?
Yeah.
And you could start routines early, like on Tuesday and Thursday is your day to do the dishes. We get up in the morning, we, take off our pajamas and we put it, at the end of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And we put our dirty clothes into the hamper. Like, those routines right there, if you don't teach your kid how to use a clothes hamper, then why are you upset when that 13-year-old has their stank ass clothes everywhere after soccer practice?
Yeah.
Because you didn't teach your kid, this is where dirty clothes go, and colds go in this basket, and whites go in this basket. Like, those are just things that they're gonna have to learn anyway. So the younger that you teach them,
Mm-hmm.
the easier they will be as teenagers, number one, and number two, the better they will be as adults. Because a motherfucker who doesn't know what a cold versus a hot is, like, where did your mom, like, who raised you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If you don't know that you put a brand new red in with the whites, they're gonna turn pink. Like, come on, this is basic shit. So routines can be taught early, and those routines, although they will change as they get older,
right,
those routines can be building blocks for being a high functioning person when they get older, an independent person.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely about that life. For example, like my son's bed, perfectly put together, not because dad did it, because he knows when he gets out of bed, you make your bed, because dad's not going to do it. If it doesn't look good, then it doesn't look good. But at least he's trying to get into the habit of, okay, I'm not sleeping anymore. Let me make my bed, because I know that's something that, we have practice and practice and practice. And now he woke up this morning. He's like, look at me, dad, climbing on top of the rail, putting it together. And
I mean, how many kids don't clear their plates off for themselves?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, their mom does it. Like, what are you doing? No,
we don't
you
do
finish your
that.
food, you bring it to there, and then if it's not your day to do the dishes, then you're good. But if it's your day to do the dishes, do the damn dishes. Like,
Yeah.
routines are very easy to get into. You just have to make the effort, you know?
Yep. All right. So number 9, identify ways to calm stress. I mean, you want me to continue reading? There's always a little tidbit after all of these
No, I mean,
tips.
I think those are healthy things to learn how to do.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that if we tell our kids they're stressed out all the time or they're anxious all the time, then they will fulfill that destiny. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a fine line between, like, taking deep breaths or going for a walk or playing with the dog for 10 minutes because you're overwhelmed with homework.
Yeah.
But there's a switch where it becomes, now that's a crutch that kids are like, I'm so stressed out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think there's a fine line, like, between teaching how a kid or a young person how to manage through some of that, but not making it so they will weaponize the behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that teaching kids how to de-stress, again, these are practices that we should have too.
Absolutely.
So
All right. So we got one left. Number 10 is just ask. And it continues by saying, ask your child if they're worried about being back in the classroom, be a good listener, and support them.
yeah,
All of that is pretty self-explanatory.
I don't think
Uh,
parents talk to their kids as much as they should these days because of social media.
no, they don't. Yeah, they really don't. A lot of the kids would rather go to social media, YouTube, TikTok, to get all their advice, their insight, their guidance, talk to their friends, then talk to their parents about, what's really happening inside of their life in the classrooms, in school, all of that. So, yeah, these are for anybody that's wondering, this is a top 10 list. Back to school tips, the mental health edition. You go to Integral. I didn't even say that correctly. Integral. I can't even say it.
Integral?
INT.
In
Integral? Is that
There
what it
you go.
is?
Integral. Why
INTE
don't you just link it in the comment?
GRAL care.org. I'll throw it in there for you guys. I'll type it in so you guys can look it up if you guys want to know more information about this. But yeah, these are integral. I gotta learn how to type again. Sorry. Do you want to say something about a little summary about what we talked about today? It's up there. Maybe I typed it wrong, but that's what it is. Can you see it?
No, I can't see the chat, but
Oh,
I'm not looking at it either. Oh, I see it now.
yeah.
Integralcare.org. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
I
top
see it.
10 tips for anybody that would like to look those up
Well, I
again.
think that's good. I mean, shout out to anybody raising kids in this terrible world we live in. So
Mhm. Okay. Well, hey, I do appreciate everybody that has watched this and followed us as we talked about getting back to school and the important things that we, as not only parents but as adults, teachers, uh, students, can do to prepare ourselves for school, to maintain our sanity, because there are a lot of the things that we had talked about can drive a person insane easily. And I think for the most part, I I would like to say that for me, um, just being aware of the things that are going on in your child, your adult's life is important. Asking questions,
I also want to say I think you shouldn't ask a whole lot more from your kid than you would be willing to give.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think sometimes I think sometimes people ask things of their kids and they wouldn't have wanted that when they were a kid. They wouldn't have wanted to do that. So I think that um, I think parents need to be mindful of how they speak to their kids and think, how would I feel if my mom talked to me that way or my dad talked to me that way? Or if they asked me to do all this, extra stuff, you know,
Yeah.
we
I think for me personally, and this is just from my upbringing and the things that I experienced. I know I'm different from a lot of people, and your story is your story. But I went to an academy for the first 5 years of my life. I was in the church 6 of the 7 days of the week, and when I transferred over to regular school, it was a cultural explosion,
oh,
shock,
I bet.
something I've never experienced before. But um, I was extremely overwhelmed. I felt alone, and for me, I think even though my mom was a tutor at the school, and she didn't tutor my age group, she tutored because this was when there was still sixth grade in elementary, basically elementary slash middle school. My mom was tutoring the sixth graders. I was in fifth grade, and for me, I kind of wished my parents would have asked me questions and talked to me because I went through some hardships my first year in in a regular school. I didn't have any friends. I felt so alone. I didn't know exactly what I was getting into. I didn't have any of my brothers around because they were on different ages. And my oldest brother was in middle school. He was in the ninth grade, and my brother next to me was still at the academy. And so it was, for me, I didn't really have anybody to talk to. So for me, I think if my dad was around, I probably would have talked to my dad. But my mom, nobody ever really asked me questions. I think asking questions would open up a conversation with for those children that might be going through those hardships of starting a new school or starting a new grade or starting a new classroom, being around different people that they're not used to being around. It may help open them up.
I think that comes down to, if you knew better, you would do better, right? And your mom probably didn't realize that's what you needed, but you
Mhm.
did. So now you have to do better, and your kids will do better than you do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think you should talk to your parents. Are we going to just gloss over fantasy football real quick, like before we go?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we can do that. I mean, yeah, let's talk about it. So, um, we're in a fantasy football league together, and
I decided to commission a fantasy football league
and
with all comics, and somebody was like, "Well, I'm not a comic, but I'll be in it."
I said I'm not a comic, but I got jokes. That's what I said.
So I let him in my league. Our league is
and
called our league is called the Mid Iron because we are probably all trash. Uh, and
and
we
it
did
was
our draft.
so
We
it
did
was
our
great.
draft today. That
It
was
was
super
fun though.
fun.
It was fun. It was the
I've
first
never
time.
played. I've never played fantasy football ever.
You
So
probably never will again. Not,
no, I'll
no,
be
it's
fine.
actually fun because I enjoy the opportunity to just connect and talk trash. I'm a trash talker. I'm very competitive in anything that I do. I've always been that way. I played all kinds of sports. I still
Yeah, what's the name of your team?
uh the champ. I mean,
Yeah. No,
you know what it
no
is.
ego involved there at all, huh?
No, that's just it's just my alter ego self.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I named my team Blitz, bitch. That's
no,
just more my personality than anything. So
so I named my team pretty much the name of all my I have four teams that I'm playing this year. I played
that's
five last
crazy.
year. I played 5 years last year. I won three of them. So that's how serious I am. I got trophies with that I've won, and yeah, I'm kind of a serious person when it
We're
comes
playing for fun, and I don't even know what I'm doing at this point.
and
So
it's all fun. Even the ones where I have money involved, it's all fun.
I
You know.
do realize that I picked a bunch of Niners, and they all have the same bye week, so I'm gonna be fucked, huh?
Yeah, yeah. But you have a bench, and that's a great thing. Hopefully, you have someone on your bench that's going to help
I
you
do.
along the way. Like I have a friend. His name is Pat, which I was just drafting his league while we've been talking the whole time. And he is totally Seahawks everybody. He does all Seahawks players. I mean, we're gonna be the top team in the NFC West. So I mean, he's drafting great.
I'm sorry, I'm choking right now on your bullshit.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Watch
Anyways,
it.
go ahead.
Quote me on that. But I'm just saying, I really enjoy fantasy football. I don't know anybody out there that's really into it. If you guys need any insight or direction on it, I know it up, down, side, and side. I'm going to smash this league, but I'm so glad to be a part of it. I really
I don't know about that. I learned something. I usually learn quick, and I play hard. So we'll see.
Okay. Well,
you
know what?
I was proud of my number one draft pick, which was
that's
Christian
a great pick.
McCaffrey.
That's the one of the best picks you can have. I mean, he's gonna eat.
I was smart.
He's gonna eat, but I have the best pick in the draft.
And I picked Aaron Rodgers as my first quarterback because
he plays for the Jets. He plays for the Jets, though.
I like his thugness.
Yeah, you know who I got. Everybody know. Like
crazy.
I have Patrick Mahomes as my first pick, and
I did see that was your first pick.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand. Like, why isn't he like number one pick every year? Because he scores the most points all the time.
I don't know.
It's just
this
crazy.
Is all new to me, so we'll figure out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Today was fun though. So.
But yeah, it was.
We're not going to hear from me and David until March now.
Hey.
Now we're enemies. So.
No. We're gonna have a conversation in December.
Oh, Lord.
When it's at the end of the league. It'll be week 13. Everything will be in stone. We already know where everybody's gonna go, how the Niners are doing, how the Seahawks are doing. We're gonna talk all of that because I'm a Seahawks fan till the day I leave this earth. You know what it is. Let's go.
Bang bang.
I think the Niners,
bitches. Bang,
the Niners
bang.
are great. The Niners are great, but they're going down this year. Just saying.
That's cute. All right, I got places to go. If you're, it is what time? Almost.
It is 6:47.
Tonight, come to the local 907 in Renton at 9:00. We have open mic. It's the longest running open mic in the Pacific Northwest, and your girl is hosting tonight for the very first time. So I'm excited about that.
Say that again. Say it one more time, real loud.
The local 907 tonight at 9:00. That's in Renton. It's just a bar. It's just an open mic, but I'm hosting. Cool. Tomorrow night, I'll be at Spud's Pizza, which is already Tuesday open mic there in Tacoma.
Yeah.
And then I have Tacoma Comedy Club downtown on Wednesday. I'm the closer.
Okay.
Tacoma Comedy Club, the 6 and Proctor location. I'm the host on Thursday. Saturday in Algona, I'm going to be at a little bar called Coco Joe's. There's actually a competition, and this is the finals. And I could win. Somebody needs attention.
One sec. Let me see what's up.
Telling you guys where I'm going to be. So tonight in Renton, tomorrow in Tacoma, Wednesday, Market Street. These are just open mics. Thursday, 6 and Proctor. But Saturday, if you're not doing anything, come to Algona, Coco Joe, 7:00. Don't be late. And vote for your girl to win the Stepping Stone contest from Last Laugh Entertainment, Tony Peters. I don't know. Follow me at Allie Real Funny AF. ALLI.
That boy, wow.
AL Funny AF.
He's got tired of waiting. That's all it was.
I'm sure.
He's tired of waiting.
He's like, I'm gonna make as much noise as possible, make it sound like an emergency.
Yes, absolutely. So
I just gave him all my socials, so we can put it in the comments too.
Absolutely, let's do that. Do you
work on Saturday?
I do not work on Saturdays.
You should come on Saturday at 7:00 in Algona. I'm in the finals of a little comedy competition, and it's
what? Is it all ages?
No, it's at a bar. So.
I got the kiddos on the weekends. That's why I don't.
Man, you better have one of them big girls watch the little one. It's like 2 hours. 2 hours.
Okay.
Get you a
Okay.
babysitter and come vote for your girl because I want to win
Absolutely.
this competition.
I'll make it happen. I'll
send some information to you.
Also, anybody out there that knows my boy's birthday's coming up September 18th. His party will be the 17th. I haven't figured out exactly where it's going to be at, but make sure you guys get ready for it.
Who, the Screamer?
Yeah, that was my.
Oh.
He'll be 6 on the 17th. So make sure you guys. He loves Spider-Man. So
no,
if you guys want to send him some Spider-Man, go ahead.
a
Amazon him
Virgo.
some Spider-Man.
My birthday's October 2nd. He's so close to being a Libra. Poor kid.
Oh
Just
no, he's good. He's the same as my dad, and I mean,
there's a Virgo.
How I feel about Pops, but
right.
We're gonna raise him a little different than Dad. So that's all we can do.
That's all we should do is be better than our parents, and then let our
Yes,
kids be better than us.
Yeah.
You know
Love you, Mom. Love you, Mom. My mom's gonna be here on the 16th too to hang out with me. So a lot of exciting things going on in September. Thank you so much, Allison. I had a wonderful conversation. Hey, we went over an hour. We was only supposed to be an hour. It's like hour and 40 minutes.
Hour and 40, yeah.
Man, turn up.
Because there's all that mental health shit that we were talking
Let's
about.
go.
So try not to fuck your kids up. Really, that's all we had to say. Like, do your best.
Absolutely.
Fuck up your kids.
Listen.
Your parents were.
Look, listen, and give them the best advice that you possibly can without screwing them up.
Really? All right, follow me on social media and come see me at a show soon.
All right, so thank you guys so much for being here. Really quick, I just want to say one last thing. Make sure you guys always check yourselves, not just mentally, but your physical. You know what I'm saying? The older you get, make sure you guys are going and get checked out because a lot of people our age are passing away. 40s, it's a time that things are happening in your body. Make sure you guys get checked out, even your 30s and your 20s. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of things that are happening in our bodies that we need to make sure we check out. So make sure you guys get it checked up. And on Saturday, the 9th, that's this Saturday, right? This Saturday at 2 p.m. What time are you on? 7 at 2 p.m. before we go to see Allison do her thing. Make sure you guys check us out. We're going to be having Circle Talk with my guy, Diago Hunter. He's an amazing brother that's been riding along with me for a very long time. We used to play basketball back in the 90s. And now he's a big part. Yeah, we old school. And
I'm older than you.
What? I'm 46.
Oh no, you're right. You are older.
I'm older than you. Oh, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. But he's a great dude. He's doing a lot in the community for the kids. He is truly focused on making our community better with all of the things that he has created. He's coached a couple of my nephews on the football field. He's done a lot of showing up for different events. And I'm going to have him come on and share his story and a lot of things that he has been going through. So I'm excited to sit down with him this Saturday. So pay attention to that 2 p.m. Saturday, I'll be with Diago Hunter. So on behalf of the Circle, thank you guys so much for being a part of us. We will see you guys next week. All right.
Bye.
Peace.